Football with friends. It's fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Oh man, I'm so happy to be here with you guys today on a big Thursday afternoon. We have Thursday night football tonight. We're getting ready to head into the tiny little Central Texas town of Waco to the mini little McMansion McLean Stadium to go see the Texas Longhorns play the pathetic Baylor Bears. We have a bunch to get to today, though. We got a ton to get to today. So we have the Sark availability from earlier this morning. We'll talk about that. He kind of had some news. I'll bet you, Blake, did anything happen with the prize picks with Jonathan Brooks and that 86.5 rushing yard, more or less?
As of like 20 minutes ago, I'll check it again. It hadn't changed, which is pretty surprising.
Well, so anyway, we'll talk about that. It looks like C.J. Baxter's probably gonna go. That could be a good less to take. We know who won't say it's a good less to take. Darwin Lemon in the chat. What's up to everybody in the chat? Blake Winfrey, Jay Ward, Text Guy 2, Jesse Eldridge, Jason Zattel, David Hitt, JD Hacker himself. Cotton says, "Yo, Pearl Jam rocked." They did rock. I think I might have got COVID, though. It's fine. Cody Carpentier in the chat. Jay Williams Jr. 3. So good to see all of you, man. So happy to be here on a big Thursday. We're gonna have so we're gonna talk about the Sark availability. Also, of course, man, it's a Keys to Victory Thursday. We got to talk to Blake about keys to victory, how it is that Texas is going to go ahead and win this game. We have the offensive skill players. Yesterday, we got so busy talking about everything on the offensive line, we did not get to talk anything about the skill guys. Nathan is right. There is breaking news that Trevon Diggs, it's already been confirmed that Trevon Diggs, of course, Dallas Cowboys cornerback, ultimate risk taker and gambler, but just an epic player that's kept developing out for the season. They've already done the MRI. It's an ACL, so he's done for the season. I don't know what they're going to do behind him. What is it? It's Noah Iggy behind him. We were talking about Blake. I'm not even sure how to say Noah's. I've had trouble with his last name ever since he was drafted. That could be something where they even go outside the team and try and get somebody else's practice squad as far as depth there. But yeah, we have the offensive skill players that we're going to get to, just talking about some target share stuff. We'll talk about some of the personnel. There was a big shift as far as the personnel packages Texas used versus Wyoming. We're gonna talk about that and how that could play forward to Baylor. That could show some similar things on the defensive side of the football whenever we kind of get to our keys to victory segment. Can't miss Mitch. Is going to join us. The creator of the algo, the man behind Bet the Algo, our betting algorithm at Roster Watch that went 62.5% last week across the 11 picks he put up for us, and 3 of 3 on his free picks. He's going to come here and give you his 3 picks for this week against the spread. And he can't miss Mitch. He can't miss. Well, he can. I've seen him miss a lot. But listen, he doesn't know. Well, look, he usually misses less than 50% of the time. I doubt he's going to get all 3 right again, but maybe he'll get 2 or 3 right, make you some cash this week. 3 of 3 last week was pretty sweet. I said, we got to start getting can't miss Mitch on the show. We have, I believe this, Blake, can you believe this? Happy 1 month, I guess, anniversary to Blake, to me, to Football with Friends, to the chat. I believe that the first shot. Thank you, Blake. And shout out to all of us. I do believe as I looked at my my alpha male show sheets, right? I keep them all just as proof. As proof that these are all topics. These are all topics that we discuss. Whoa. Right? And so I was looking. I was like, when was the first show, man? It feels like it's been about a month. And sure enough, I think the 21st was the first. I think the 21st was the first show. So happy 1 month to all of us, man. It feels like this. It feels like I just started this yesterday. It also feels like I've been doing this for about 3 years. Imagine, well, geez, I don't even know what this show is going to be like once the off season hits. All right. So we'll also talk about today on the national holiday stuff. The national holiday stuff today is actually, this is one that I love. It's National Get Ready Day. by the American Public Health Authority or whatever. One of these, I don't know, 3-letter.
Get ready for what?
I just get ready. I'm not sure. It was established in 2006 to get people ready for natural disasters, pandemics, all this stuff like that. Okay. I guess people are going to need to have, it's a national holiday where we tell people to go get their emergency food supply kits and have their potable water and generators, things like that. Blake, do you own a generator?
Do I own one? No, I don't.
Does anybody in chat own generators? They are so expensive and they never go on sale. And when things are so expensive and they never go on sale, you generally know that those are things that are going to be always going to be in high demand. Mm-hmm. We have Thursday Night Football tonight. We'll preview that. We'll go through a Prize Picks entry. We will get that done for sure. And our topic of the day: best gifts under $100.
Ooh.
So, I mean, how many times do you have to buy something for your wife, or buy something for your husband, or buy something for somebody that's hard to buy something for? One of your kids, your sister, your brother, and it's Cotton sells generators. Do you sell them for under $100? He's not talking about it like that.
Hey, but if you want to sponsor
under $100, are you kidding?
If you want to sponsor the show, here's the email you need right here, Alex at Ross.
Hey man, yeah, dude, we can move some.
We can move some generators on this show.
Hit me up about a sponsorship, brother. You can send Blake and I generators, and we'll just
we'll fire them up on the show. My power went out. A week ago, I could have fired up that generator, had everything going.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. If you guys have any ideas, and this is one that I always do care about because I have birthdays coming up. So Hacker's saying that his folks' birthdays are coming up. I have a bunch in the fall. Both my kids, sister, nephew, sister-in-law. And their father-in-law. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole bunch coming up. So I was thinking, man, I got to buy some of this stuff. Let's see. Paul
is trying to start some.
Alex, I think it's only fair you should. Catch talked about reference PFF roughly 85 times today. This is a safe space limit. Catch loves him some. Catch loves him some PFF.
He's not necessarily referencing the grading. He's usually like, they're okay at counting stuff, which is mostly what Catch is referencing.
And that's fine. Look, when we get to the off season and we're still doing this show and everybody still likes it and they want to keep on doing it, it's like I'll look at a lot of stuff that PFF has about like forced missed tackles per attempt and I mean, those things are kind of subjective too. It's just I literally, my problem with them is I don't understand who does the grades, and I don't understand what the grades mean. And they don't have a FA. They have a big FAQ section about it, but it answers everything, and it's not. It doesnn't say like how a play is graded. It just says like we have staff that have been trained and is double checked by ex-coaches and all this stuff like that. But like, what do they even mean? What do they mean? Right? And it's like they don't answer the simplest question. That's how it feels.
Orange hair dye.
I'm just gonna start wearing hats if my hair keeps staying this way.
I think,
and that is not pomade, Cody.
You
know very well. I don't put pomade in there. I got this. I got some stuff that I got clay. It's not pomade. But it does look shiny today, like I put some pomade in there. I'm telling you guys, man, this is like I'm not gonna put up with this. This is cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying.
Jay Ward is saying saying ammunition, best gift under $100. Here's the thing, Jay Ward. Sometimes some of those boxes at 223 are up to like 149 right now. You know what I mean?
Ammo is expensive these days.
Yeah. I would just say, first off, we'll talk about this more at the very end. The best gift that you can buy any man in your life like if you can get a nice kind of entry level like bench made pocket knife, like a bug out mini or something like that for right at $99. That's always going to be an absolute smash. But
anything related to grilling or smoking as well, I think is always a good gift.
David Hitt is right. I'm being hair shamed and I'm being bullied. I'm being bullied online. I'm being bullied online. All you guys, gift certificates to Specs. That's a great idea.
That's a good one, Tex guy.
That's a good thing to bring up whenever we get to that. Do you guys want to talk about Sark's availability today? Let's talk about Sark's availability today. I think Sark might be listening to his foot. He might be Alex drunk so much orange Kool-Aid it changed his hair. You guys. It's funny because I was on Anwar's show yesterday, and you guys were in the same. Some of you same bozos that are in here making fun of my hair, saying like, "Hey, look, it's my favorite redheaded host," and Anwar and I had a hat on, and Anwar was because it was early in the morning. I hadn't showered or anything or done my hair, and Anwar was like, "What do you mean redheaded toast?" He's like, "What are you talking about? Like Alex doesn't have red hair." I took my hat off, and you can see like there's something about this. I don't know if it's like one of my. I wonder if I could show you guys my setup. Oh, maybe. Hold on. That light was off. Maybe does that make it less red or more red?
I don't think it changed it a whole lot.
I'm just dude. I'm grasping at straws here. Okay, let's see.
What's Sark say today?
Yeah, but what Anwar said is like, you guys, what are you talking about? Like, I've known Alex forever. He doesn't have red hair, and it is true. I don't. It's just weird.
You know what's funny? Everyone that goes on Anwar's show as a guest, I feel like gets critically analyzed from a what they're wearing and what they look like standpoint. Like Ketch wore his almost kind of maroon shirt on there last week. It became a thing the whole day. Jason always gets called out for whatever hat he's wearing. It's usually the blue Adidas hat. But if he wears something else, that throws off everything. It's like, whoa, what is Jason wearing?
Speaking of hats, one other quick thing. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just going to sign this contract that the guy from the merch company sent us. Man, he's a super cool guy. I like him. I talked to him on the phone. He's one of us. I've seen the prototypes of these hats. Man, these hats look great. We'll get some hats and some T-shirts, man. Football with friends. You guys are going to love them whenever you see them, dude. They're cool designs. Blake has some great ideas. So it'll be super easy. We'll have a QR code we'll put up here. You guys can just use the QR code and we'll explain how it's going to go. It's going to be super easy. And we'll hopefully be able to get you guys some merch. All right. Sark, what does he say? I'm sorry. You got to like and subscribe to please click like. Please click subscribe. Please comment below and
save your $100.
Yeah,
and buy some Football with Friends merch here whenever it comes out.
We're not going to make it very expensive. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like we just want to get it out to the people.
Yep.
And then also if you are interested in sponsoring the show, or if you have any questions, or if you're like kind of like our guy Hector was with the merch stuff, and you just want to talk to me about some business or whatever, like alex@rosterwatch.com, or you can send me questions, anything. I had a guy yesterday that emailed me about some of the Roster Watch stuff about the betting content. And I said, well, hey, it's good news. We're going to have Can't Miss Mitch on tomorrow. And so we'll talk about it then, right? Fine. It's fine. Okay. So we'll have Mitch in a minute. Sark's availability. I'm really going to it now. Okay. So the biggest news out of the availability is that CJ Baxter, like he says, he's looked great at practice. He's been very impressed with how he looks at practice, and he anticipates him playing. So he feels good. He says he looked great today. He's looked great this week. He feels good about Saturday. That's what he says. So it looks like he's going to go. That's a big deal.
And so take the under on Jonathan Brooks, 86.5 on Prize Picks. It's still up.
Well, I mean that line was set as I figured that as soon as that news broke, they would take that thing down to 63.5 or something like that, because that line is set as a line that's for a featured runner in one of these matchups. And what they're thinking is that Baylor's been miserable against the run. If you read Jason's matchups column, they've been really, really bad. But and I understand people saying that, dude, look, we're going to get a big big chance here for Jonathan Brooks to build on what he did last week, and maybe they'll ease CJ Baxter back in and yada yada. And I get that, right? It makes sense that could possibly happen. But CJ Baxter only needs to get in for, 10 touches, 12 touches to just take any of the upside away from Jay Brooks outside of him just breaking off one of these big monster plays, which could definitely happen. I'm not sure I know we saw it last week. We saw one of them last game. I'm not sure that's going to be an ongoing feature of Jay Brooks's game. Right. I'm not sure we're going to just look at Jay Brooks. Dude, there's a lot to say about Jay Brooks. There's a lot that we can talk about this guy that you can say it's like he's a good runner, right? He's a good runner. He's patient. He's got good enough vision. I like his first level burst. I don't think through the second and the third levels, he doesn't seem to have the same sort of acceleration to me. It's like not everybody's going to have all the same skill sets. Not everybody's going to have everything the same way that Bijan Robinson did. When I look at Brooks, and I'm not to say he reminds me of Roschon, because no one's like Roschon, and he's not as good in pass pro, and he's certainly not as good catching the football based on what we've seen so far this season, and the critical drops that not critical drops, but the drops that he's had. But if you're just comparing him, he feels like a guy who's gonna take some contact, force some missed tackles, and he'll fall forward for a few yards for you, and he'll get the extra tough yards like Roschon might have. But he doesn't seem like a guy who's a threat to take the top off the defense and every single time he touches the ball. So I feel like it's probably going to take one of those for him in a split backfield to get to 86.5. Or just a commitment to really, really, really just pounding him via the run all game long. And if they do, I'm not sure how much I buy into this whole, is one of your keys to victory this whole thing the Catch was talking about, this 3 high safety look? I mean, is that something that I'm not sure. It's like, I mean, are we even sure that can't you just counter that by going to trips on one side? Why wouldn't Sark just do that?
I don't think it's going to be a really interesting game. What Catch has pointed out is that they're 3-5. Sark at Texas is 3-5 against teams that run mostly that look so far in his career at Texas. And
I'd be interested to go back and look. It's like, what I mean, I would go to trips and just get him out of it. Make him instead of doing some kind of weird cover 8 stuff, just make him go to cover 2. Like, I think
this is a great opportunity to just explode that.
It doesn't make sense to me that it would that would be such a big hindrance to Sark. It's like, you tell me that he can't figure this out. I mean, that thing's been around for that Iron Dome stuff. That thing's been around forever.
Yeah, and Jay Ward's right that Baylor doesn't predominantly run the flyover defense either. It's something I think they're kind of.
When did it become called the flyover? He kept talking about that today, and I was just like, what is is that a new term?
I'm not sure who coined that phrase, but it's been referenced quite a bit in the last few weeks as the flyover 3 high safety defense. But
what's different about this, guys? What's different about this? And look, this is like, I didn't know about this stat until Catch kind of talked about it, right? But the difference is, instead of having the nickelback who can come up and do some things, you have the 3 safeties basically. If you're in the middle of the field, you got one in this deep center field and one on each of the hash marks, and of course they'll move them around and they'll shift as far as the alignment to the offense, and but the general idea is just to kind of keep everything underneath those.
And to Wyoming's credit, they did a pretty good job of keeping everything underneath in their game. And that's one of the reasons why it was 10-10 at the end of the third quarter.
I'm just saying, I kind of agree with Cotton here. He's saying if 3-3-5 was foolproof, everyone would be wrong. It's like there
shouldn't be something that
counter every defense. I'm not sure that I need a little bit more evidence, and clearly it's something that I hadn't thought about or noticed before. But if somebody's been noticing this and chronicling it and collecting evidence as to why it makes sense and why Sark can't manage to counter it, but by going to a trip set that's not necessarily a bunch trip set, then I don't understand. It's just like whatever. But so a key to victory, I guess, will be, is that a key to victory?
Yeah, I think it should.
I mean, we're getting in keys to look.
Let's work them in.
We're working it in. People are coming for the keys. They're coming for the.
They want the keys, Alex. By the way, if you're in the chat, let us know your keys to victory.
Yeah,
from them as well.
Yeah, sure. We'd love to hear it. Cotton Sands, because biggest Sark has a script. Well, it should be written into the script, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much Baylor even does this anyway. I watch Baylor versus these Long Island idiots. It's like I saw a bunch of 3-3-5 Iron Dome stacks. It's like I honestly don't even know why this is a talking point right now. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. Let's see. Sark talked about. I think he's watching his football with friends, man, because you know how we love to talk about controlling your destiny, designing your destiny, understanding where you are right now, and being intentional with that next step towards your destiny. He used the word intentional probably 4 times in this press conference. He said that's how these guys are. He says he loves the shift to conference play, and he loves that he can sense the focus shifting in practice. He said that was what he noticed most in practice this week was people being intentional and being focused and taking on that 0-0 mentality, not saying, somebody told him like, you're 3-0, you're blah, 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 like all this stuff. And Sark said, look, man, I'm not looking at Baylor as being, what are they, 1-2? Are they 1-2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm not looking at them as being 1-2. I'm not looking at us being 3-0, but I mean, we're both 0-0. Like so you definitely like to hear that. There was the question that somebody asked about the safety position that where they said, look, it seems like Jaron Thompson is the mainstay over there. We've talked about it a million times. He's kind of like the main guy over at the boundary safety, but at the field safety, it's sort of a rotation there with Catalan kind of being the first one up. And the question from the guy was just like, dude, is this about Catalan's health and about maybe keeping his snap count low and making sure that he's like, this guy's like, well, he's kind of been hurt every year, right? But he's like, no, man, it's like it's the same thing that we talk about, like we did have with the right guard before Cole Hudson got hurt. Who knows what's going to happen with it now? Like we currently have at the field corner that he says he likes. He's like, man, I like looking out there and seeing Terrence Brooks on one series. And again, this is not the way that Sark talks. This isn't what he said. This is me paraphrasing him. I always feel like I have to do that because Bianco's going to turn this on and jump out the window. I'm saying like, hey, he never said that. But, Sark said something like, this is, I like looking out there and seeing Terrence Brooks or maybe seeing Gavin Holmes or seeing Manny Muhammad, or we can use those guys differently for different matchups. We can get to see them playing reps versus different players, different situations, stuff like that. And we're the whole time we're kind of consistently getting them ready. He thinks that it's a good general practice for those guys. And I think what we can take away from that is Texas has some good safeties. I mean, they have some good safeties to where if there was one, it's like Ryan Watts. He's good enough to where it's like, even though it'd be nice to be able to get everybody a bunch of reps and not to have a real letdown from one guy to the other, and you can situationally move around these dudes and play these dudes and use them in different ways and get them all evaluation reps to where you can get a real good idea about how these guys should be optimally deployed and stuff. Well, the only thing better than that is having a guy that's so good you can't take him off, right? So that's how it is with like Watts. And over the field, so the boundary corner, it feels like the boundary is pretty much locked down, right? That's kind of how they feel about Jaron Thompson. They don't want to take him off. And if you look at the game logs, it sort of reflects that, right? With the field corner, those guys, I mean, they'll go from Terrence Brooks to Gavin Holmes after 1 or 2 series. And then he'll play a series and Muhammad will play a series. And then Brooks won't come into like the 6th series again, right? Jaron Thompson's goes like a half and then another series, and then like Manny Muhammad will come in for him just as a backup for a few plays and he'll come back. He said he was talking about the safeties though. He said that Jalen Catalan, he just said I mean, you've seen him. He's a good player. He's an active football player, knows for the football, instinctual. He talked about Keaton Crawford, who he said he thought that he's had a really good year, but do you know what he said, which I think is cockamamie. I mean, I think Keaton Crawford's been bad. We've talked about sort of why, but for me, it just goes to, dude, I can't get that one play from the Wyoming game out of my head. I probably should. One play does not a season make for these guys, but just how unathletic that looked. Here I am talking about how unathletic that looked whenever literally Keaton Crawford could walk up to me, roll me up into a ball, murder me. I look like a Pillsbury doughboy compared to this guy, right? So I don't mean to say unathletic like that, but he didn't make an athletic move on that play, much like I wouldn't if I was in his shoes, wearing a bunch of out in the heat, wearing a helmet and a shoulder pads. Who knows? I think probably if I tried to make that move, I'd go up in the air, I'd fall down just like he did, but I think like my helmet would fall off and like my shoes would come untied and they'd fall off and it would just be a giant spectacle. It would manage to look much more unathletic than even he did. But the thing is with Keaton Crawford is just that, man, 88% completion percentage when he's targeted and only 39 snaps per missed tackle. That's bad. I mean, that's bad. You know, it's bad. Mm-hmm. So, but he talks about him like but I think but when he says he's a good player for us, he did say it on defense, but also really on special teams. You know, so he made sure and say that. He said Michael Taft, of course. What do you think he said about Michael Taft? If you had to guess, Blake.
It's a real lunch pill guy, maybe a coach.
Close. He said he just has such a high football IQ.
Oh man.
No, yeah. So we didn't get any lunch pail stuff from him.
Yeah. Give me a break.
Yeah, something close though, man. I would have loved to hear
academic All-American.
I'd have loved to hear Jim Rat.
Oh man.
Okay, and then what else did he say? And it was Derek Williams. He just said he just keeps on getting better.
Oh yeah,
this dude, and he's gonna be he's gonna be a starter as soon as next year. Jay Ward said Cotton says he agrees. I'm not sure what he agrees with. I said a lot of. Do you agree with the fact that if I was out there trying to make that Keaton Crawford play, that I would have looked much more less athletic? I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree with that. How's our offensive line's health? 2 guys went down last weekend. Are they good to go? No. Well, 2 guys didn't go down last weekend. It was just
Hudson.
It was Hudson. You're thinking about Christopher Ross. Neither of those guys are going to be good to go, but Christopher Ross plays on defense. So yeah, but Cole Hudson will probably be out about a month. Look, it's all on DJ Campbell's shoulders, man. We're going to see how he's going to go, and we have a whole lot more to get to, even as far as this, before we bring on Can't Miss Mitch. Man, there's so much to get to here on a big Thursday. We're going to talk about all of it next.
This Orangebloods recruiting flashback focuses on one of the best wide receivers to ever play on the 40 acres, former Odessa Permian star Roy Williams. One of the all-time greats out of West Texas, Williams was one of the last great players to come out of Permian and the Little Southwest Conference, a school and district in West Texas that helped inspire the movie and TV show Friday Night Lights. Williams' prowess as a receiver, defensive back, and track star made him perhaps the single best talent to ever come out of that part of the state. Overall, Williams finished the year as a 5-star prospect in the Rivals 2000 rankings, but actually ranked behind fellow Texas wide receiver signee BJ Johnson in the rankings, which seemed pretty stupid almost as soon as he hit campus. I can't lie, I had Williams ranked behind Johnson as well, who at one time reminded scouts of former Florida State wide receiver Peter Warrick. In addition to Williams and Johnson, fellow Texas signee Sloan Thomas was ranked as a top 5 in-state prospect, and the 3 of them became known as the Big Three when they arrived on the 40 acres. As far as Williams' actual recruitment, he was an early commitment for the Longhorns, who had the arrival of 5-star quarterback Chris Sims as a major selling point for all of the in-state wide receiver gems that year. For the most part, Williams was solid as a rock throughout the recruiting process to the Longhorns, although Texas A&M fans were convinced that he would be a late flip in the recruiting process to them, even if there was virtually zero evidence to suggest it would happen. But we're talking about facts and evidence. And when has that ever mattered to the Aggies? At the end of the day, Williams signed with the Longhorns and became one of the best players in the history of the school at his position.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Football with friends. It's fun as hell. I'm so man. We're having some fun today here on Football with Friends, and what makes everything much more fun, of course, is going to Specs, wine, spirits, and finer foods. Listen, guys, we can all admit it spices up your time a little bit to have a few cocktails, maybe have a couple beers, a nice sip of some wine, right? But you never know if it's going to be any good. You never know if these wines. I mean, me personally, I like to get a wine that is, $20, like $20 to $25, that tastes like a $40 wine, right? But you go anywhere and you go places and they're like, oh, you get this one, whatever. Every time I go to Specs and I ask them, I'm like, hey man, what's a wine in the $20 class that you think it tastes like I'm gonna take it to a party, and they're gonna say like, man, Alex spent $50 on this wine. Every time they just do it. That's how they win National Retailer of the Year 4 times. They've been around doing this since 1962. World-class service that's all about you. Call Specs. And of course, the Specs chat line brought to you by Specs. The best gift under $100, Red Lobster gift cards. That's for sure. Jay Ward saying, just got an invite to a 100-acre field in Missouri for some duck and goose hunting this season. You coming, Alex? I don't think so, Jay Ward. I don't think so, brother. I think if you were allowed, if you're in Missouri, if you were allowed whitetail permission there, I might be interested. It's just whenever I get into the, I've never been duck hunting before, but I have been super, super, super cold, wet, and miserable before. And it feels like there's a whole lot of that.
Same thing.
It's like there's a whole lot of thing that there's a whole lot of that goes on. Cotton says he's got a double Tito's and tonic at Moody, $40. Should have gone to Specs and bought the whole bottle.
Dude, load up for your tailgate, man. If you're going to Waco or you're getting stuff for next week, Specs place to be.
A beer for me and for my wife there at that place was $31 for 2 beers, like just domestic beers. I'm telling you, man, that's a place where you gotta BYOF and BYO.
That's just about every venue.
Yeah,
you're just getting price gouged at every single one of these venues now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so so give us your gifts on under $100. Let us know. I mean, a gift card to, I mean, golly, gift card to Red Lobster. Cody says he's out for the evening to go shoot some clay. Sounds good, man. Cody will be back tomorrow for final takes. Have fun with that, Cody. All right, let's see here. The Sark availability before Miss Mitch comes on here in about 25 minutes with some winners, some big winners on Thursday. So the Baylor defense, he says, what's good about them? What's, and it's like somebody's like, well, we got this Baylor game coming up, coach. We're like, what do you make of the defense? he says that they are most of all, they're a well-coached defense. You could tell by Sarkisian, just the way he talks. He's not just some of these coaches and some of these teams he'll give real lip service to that he doesn't have to. And coaches, outside of a few random, even dude, across the coaching space, really, it really takes a real malcontent kind of miscreant coach to be one that consistently maybe talks bad about other coaches or doesn't give them respect when he speaks with the media, or doesn't give them respect when he speaks to his team about it. There really is an unspoken code among coaches. And look, it's not to say that you can't slip up like Jay Norvell did the other day, right? At Colorado State. I know Norvell, right? Norvell was here at Texas for a while. Like, yeah. I know Norvell. He's not the kind of man that I would never expect that out of him. That's more of him just being, that's him almost being too kind of, how do you say it? Like too kind of coachy and old. He's kind of an old timey guy, one of these just kind of, what's the word? I don't even know. Like, does anybody in chat know what I'm talking about? Something that's kind of somebody that's kind of like they're just old timey, and they're like a real like old school ball coach. And maybe I don't even really know the word for
traditional,
it. Yeah, he's like very traditionalist. That's probably the best way to say it. And so he's saying like, man, I don't know about this stuff about I'm more about like, we dress up nice for our presentations, and we, I don't think he was taking a shot at Deion, but see, sometimes things like that happen. The thing with Sean Payton, whenever he let it get under his skin about it, saying that Nathaniel Hackett did the worst job he's ever seen when he was in Denver last year. That's something where you let your own stuff kind of, you let your own thoughts kind of slip out a little bit, and those slips will always happen. But as far as being one of these guys that just seems like you're malcontented with all the other coaches and you're talking bad behind their backs, like that doesn't happen.
Those coaches don't last long.
But yeah. So right, but
they're not getting hired anywhere else, So,
but unless Kiffin is the one that
unless they're a real badass like Kiffin.
Yeah, but
put up 50 points a game.
And here's the thing: Kiffin has great relationships with other coaches. A lot of times, the bullets he's shooting aren't necessarily at the coach, like coach, like he sometimes calls him like he sees him. I think a lot of coaches kind of see it like he sees it, if that makes sense. Yeah. This is all to say that you can kind of tell when Sark just gives kind of fake plaudits to a coach. He has legit respect for Dave Aranda. He's like, dude, whether it was at Utah State, whether it's LSU, whether it's like blah blah, like he's always had this kind of like he knows the dude's background and his story. He's faced off against him in SEC stuff. I mean, it's like he really does have a lot of respect.
Dave Aranda won a Big 12 championship at Baylor 2 years ago. He's a legit coach, man. So I fully agree with Sark, and 100% due respect. I don't know if they have the personnel this year, but
he said that he just said he said you got to look at their big bodies up front. He says when they're playing well. But he just said when they're playing well, he made that distinction. I think Sark doesn't think these guys have been playing well, because he says when they're playing well, they don't have to put an extra guy in the box and do some things back in coverage that can kind of screw you up. But he just said when they're playing well. So a key to victory, Blake, is going to be making sure that those guys don't play well, getting your hands on them, dominating them in the trenches, and making sure that they got to bring that extra guy, because Texas should be able to handle that extra guy with the improvement that we've seen, especially out of Jake Majors. And I'm going to knock on wood, right? Like I wrote in my column today. I mean, this is probably only 50-50 to stick, right? With Jake Majors, or for this to even be a sort of a new higher baseline. But I mean, if he can keep moving guys, that DJ Campbell, if nothing else, he can move guys when it comes down to it. Hayden Connor, if it's not outside zone with the 3 technique a little bit widened out when Kelvin Banks doesn't give him help, that's the only time when it's the play side it's the play side of outside zone plays to the left side where he lets penetration come up his play side shoulder, and Kelvin Banks doesn't give him enough help with his inside hand as far as starting out, right? That's it. As far as inside zone, you're done against Hayden Connor. You're done against all these guys. So I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see them go with some more of that and some more of those power plays like I was talking about, really helping out DJ Campbell with those down blocks over on the play side. Okay, super chat.
Here it is again, Alex. The 3 high defense. Why does Sark or Quinn have so much trouble with it?
I'm not convinced that this is. I'm not convinced that this analysis is. I need to see the evidence of it. I need to see the empirical evidence of it. I want to, that's what I do. I wish I would have known that this was going to be a topic that was going to come up into my life today, right? And I could have gone back and looked at the games or figured out which ones even did this stuff. But the way that I see it, if they go 3 high safeties, why not just get him out of 3 high safeties by going to trips to one side and not make it a bunch set? That's the way to do it. Go to YouTube and type in countering 3 high safeties. You'll find a million. It's like you told me that Sark doesn't know how to go against a cover 2 or cover 8 or any of this Iron Dome stuff, whatever catch called fly over. Do you think he doesn't know how to do that? It's absurd.
It's a narrative that's just running rampant right now, and he's just going to have to put an end to it.
Who came up with this, Catch? I mean, is it? I mean,
no, it was well before Catch. It's been around.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's right. I mean,
Rod Babers talking about it.
I don't understand.
Ian Boyd, I've heard talk about it.
I don't under. I haven't had enough time to. I mean, I'm sorry. It's like a waste of a super chat. It's like I haven't looked into. Like I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't make much sense to me that would be the case. Especially, it's like how are we defining? I mean, are we defining a 3-3-5? Can the nickel go back and be on one of the hash marks? And is that considered a kind of a dome defense or whatever, flyover, whatever they call it? Like, is that really a 3-high defense? How do we know that does it have to be a safety personnel wise? Does it have to be a safety? Can it be a nickel over on the weak side?
Good question. I don't know the technicalities of it.
To me, to think that Sark, that there's some kind of defense that Sark just walks out there and he's just like, oh no, this thing again.
Alex, they got us.
All right.
We might as well not even play. They got us.
Throwing this thing up in the air.
It's
Like,
we're done.
Well, let's. We don't practice against the 3-3-5 kids because guess what? If they run the 3-3-5, we're screwed, and we don't practice screwed. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. What are we talking about? Jay Ward saying it's more amoeba fronts than his 3-3-5. I think Quincy's changing pressure kind of loses a little. I don't think that's. I'm not sure that's it either, man. Jay Ward. I think that I don't think if you look at Quinn this year, I don't think that he's been losing it. And he's been freaking out as much whenever he sees these stunts and these tom twists and these different edge games coming this year. I think he that this is one way where Jake Majors has been good and something where he's really been, like I've talked about it a lot on here. But one of the reasons why he's getting these high grades is because him and the guys next to him have been really good with this. They were awesome with it last week, all except on the one play that Christian Jones passed off beautifully to DJ Campbell, and that was one of those DJ Campbell. You're better than this plays. So thank you for the question. I'll do a better job answering most super chats than that one.
Appreciate
it. I don't here, but here's the official answer. I don't believe that. I'm not buying it. Like now that I've been somebody's let me know of it, I feel like I'll look for it more now. But I mean, I have to say. Look, he says, you're the only one that doesn't think that look gives Sark issues. All the other channels do. That's what Izzy True says. And to Izzy True, I will say this. I don't consume Longhorns content. Do you want me to come on here and parrot what everybody else says? You want me to come on and just go with the company line? I don't consume Longhorns content. I do my work. I watch the games. I'll read like Ketchum's column. I'll read Orangebloods. But it's like all the other channels. Do you think I spend 1 minute of my time watching some other company's content on YouTube? I'm too busy. Well, I have work to do. I have the NFL to cover. I have a business where we have 7 different employees that I have to get all kinds of other stuff to during the day. I have deer hunting podcasts to listen to. We're getting into the rut. Different tactics. Rut Fresh Radio on Wired to Hunt. The NDA podcast today had the voice from The Element on there. Meat Eater's now on twice a week now that they have the trivia show. Oh, man. Think I have time to hear other people talk about this stuff? Yeah, I don't want to listen to other people talk about this stuff. It would completely. I don't do all my work so I can listen to what other people say. God, that's absurd.
Nobody goes through and grades every single snap that the Longhorns play like you do. See, that generates your entire view of what your opinion is on the team, and like to answer these questions.
I just feel like as of now we would have noticed, but no, I'm not going to go listen to other. I'm not going to go. Listen to their content? Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, let's see. So let's see. Alex's priorities: deer hunting, podcast, everything else. No, like I'll listen to Michael Lombardi's podcast. I'll listen to a bunch of NFL stuff, But no, I'm not gonna listen to listen to what other people say about the Longhorns.
It's not just gonna parrot somebody else's opinion, going off.
Well, and here's the thing: why would you say every other show does that? So why do you watch all those shows? If they're all saying the same thing, why do you watch them? I don't believe that this narrative is true now. And I watch I think I would have picked up on this if there's something that I do notice with it moving forward. Now that everybody's making a big deal about it, I'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't care. Okay, let's see here. So we already mentioned CJ Baxter. He talked about Sawyer Robertson. He didn't have anything to really say about. He just didn't have anything to say about this guy. You'll have to answer for this Saturday, folks. I'm not sure what that means, but I do love me some Jareth Mulholland. Paul says we find a new trigger for Alex like PFF. He's writing this stuff down. Yeah. So add that on to like tell me that. Yeah, dude. Oh yes. Telling me that what I'm saying is wrong because everybody else is saying something else. That's definitely like that for sure. Everybody else is saying it. All the other channels are saying it. Just like LCRA is like that. If you want to bring up the LCRA and they're just constant authoritarian, tyrannical disposition to just want to check into all my business just because I live a certain amount of distance from the lakefront. All right. What is Baylor's greatest strengths? Oh, well, Robertson. Here's one funny thing. He said he's got the athleticism. You haven't really seen him play much, but there's the challenge. But that brings the challenge of the unknown, right?
Since you brought up Robertson, let me pull up the chart. I wanted to get your reaction to this. This is Sawyer Robertson's passing chart so far this season. Notice any one quadrant that's a little bit different than all the other ones? Most of them are terrible. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Outside left beyond 20 yards, down the left sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5 for 10 for 185 yards, and everywhere else, terrible. Like quarterback ratings.
He's good. He's good. It looks like he's okay over there. He's okay over the middle right there.
8 for 11, interceptions over the middle. I mean, but this is interesting. Like,
well, I mean, listen, Ryan Watts. I mean, that's generally going to be Ryan Watts' area over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Definite key to victory, man, will be just making sure. I think that the key to victory with him is just make him participate in the game, make him be a big time participant, dude. Make it put the team on his shoulders, and I can't believe we're going through PFF to do.
No, look at this. His NFL when blitzed, his NFL passer rating is 35.2.
A key to victory is to blitz him.
Yeah, exactly. Not that he's good when he's not blitzed, because he hasn't been good at all, but he's atrocious when blitzed.
My question is this: so why did Sark say whenever he's talking about Sawyer Robertson that he recruited him? He's like, yeah, like I'd known him, like we'd recruited him. It's like, really? They recruited him. I wonder maybe if he's just saying that he kind of seen him at, maybe he just kind of meant they'd seen him at camps. Like, and I don't even know if that was when he was at Texas or whether that was when he was at
he's at Mississippi State, right?
Sark?
No, Sawyer.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about Sark. Like when did Sawyer Robertson? When was he a recruit?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
See, we do really good prep here on this show. We make sure that we know all the facts. we come on this show and figure things out together. Look, we're having
2020. He signed his He went to Mississippi State, entered the transfer portal. January 23, transferred to Baylor. He was at Mississippi State for 3 years before transferring to Baylor.
For some reason, is he true? Is saying he's saying I wasn't. What did he say? I never said you were wrong, Alex. I just asked a question, and look, it's okay. I'm not angry at you. We're here to have fun. But I will say this: you didn't ask a question. Is he true? You made a statement. You said you're the only one that doesn't think that look gives Sark issues. All the other channels do, right? So that isn't a question. That was you made a statement, and so I was just responding to your statement. But listen, we're here to have fun. It's fine. It's fine. But so I'm sorry. I was reading that comment. So when did Sark recruit him?
2020. He signed in the 2020 recruiting class to Mississippi State.
I wonder if he didn't seem like he really liked him, but there's a weird little offhand comment to say like, yeah, we knew him in the process, recruited him, like, but kind of the allure of the unknown. I mean, just a weird thing with him. He talked about, he was asked, somebody asked what Baylor's greatest strength was, and Sark said, this is how you know that. He says it's got to be their culture. They really believe in what they do. That's like, if they really had a real strength, he'd be like, man, they got two really kick butt linebackers, man. They can go sideline to sideline. If you don't get a hat on them super early, they're gonna turn you inside. They keep contained. Or they say like, oh man, they got they got big numbers 97 up front. He's like a forklift down there. It takes a whole lot of extra attention that you got to put on him. He's a guy that can take over a football game. He's not just a one gap penetrator. He can two gap you all day. He keeps his linebackers clean. Dude, that tandem of corners that they have, they play off each other really well. They give you a bunch of different looks. Both veteran guys, real savvy. They can jump routes. There's always something. See, I came up with all those off the top of my head. I've heard Sark say it a million times. He usually identifies it like a couple players. Like with Milrow, what scares you the most? We talked about every night. He looks down at his pillow. He's scared that Jalen Milrow's going to pop out in his bed, some kind of boogeyman in a creepy movie. But what he's scared of. The creepy boogeyman for him with Baylor is their culture and their belief in what they do. Yeah, I'm not sure it's a scary boogeyman.
Well, I think he's onto something, because this is now Baylor's season. This game, they're 1-2. They're playing Texas for the last time ever. It's at home, so I think there is going to be a cultural thing in this game with the Baylor Bears and how bad they want to win this game. Because if it gets away and they're 1-3, they lost to Texas, man, that's just bad news for Dave Aranda.
Which is great.
Which is great news for Texas.
Which is great.
I'm expecting them to come out pretty fired up for this one. Like,
Sark was asked that question about what do you make of the fact that Aranda said earlier that some big money guys, some of these Baylor big money dirtballs were saying like, I don't care if you just win this one versus Texas, just win versus Texas, get this one win. And I love that Sark said that it's the same thing that we've been saying, and it's what I love to hear from Sark. It's what I've loved hearing him say every time. It gets me fired up when he says it. He's like, we're going in and we're going to attack. We're not going to go in there, and we're not going to come in there and let them dictate the terms. We're not going to. It's like it doesn't matter really what they say. Both of these teams are 0-0. Both like we're going into a battle here. Like we're gonna go head to head. We're gonna battle it out. But they're certainly gonna know that we're gonna be the aggressor. It's like, man, that's the kind of stuff that'll get you fired up to hear. But yeah, I mean, they need to actually now follow up on it, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. They can't just.
He's done it so far this season. He's been way more aggressive this year, especially in that Alabama game in the second half. I mean, he got real aggressive on multiple occasions. That's the kind of team like that gets the fans into it, man. That gets the players into it, knowing that you're that confident to be aggressive. Maybe it's a 4th and 2 at midfield, and you're like, no, we're going to get this. No problem. That's the kind of mentality you need to have.
Cotton says Baylor's doing a blackout. Oh, God, this just be so good.
Are they? My friends that go to Baylor have been complaining that they haven't done a blackout in a long time. So I wonder.
Yeah, I can't believe you have friends that went there.
I do have a few friends.
You need to make some new friends. But I guess a blackout for Cotton's sake, a blackout wouldn't be that too hot at night, right?
No, it is a 6:30 kick.
So. Yeah, it won't be too hot at night.
It's cooling down out here too, less than 100 degrees.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, we got some other stuff he said. What he talked about. I think it's interesting what he said about Isaiah Nair, how it relates to Jonte Cook and some of the wide receiver rotations, the stuff that we really talk a whole lot about around here. We talk about the week of practice and how the week of practice and sort of what it means. And we're going to talk about all that. I thought that Noble Powell was saying, "What's the beef with Baylor?" It's just like, look, man, it's a you don't want to get me started. These people, man, it's like, look, man, we're not going to talk about Baylor, right? No, we are going to talk about Baylor. We're not going to talk about keys to victory. We're not going to talk about the Art Briles thing. We're not going to talk about anything that their fans might have done as far as doxing me and my family and putting my address, personal information out on the internet. But there are other things that we're going to talk about. This Isaiah Nayer stuff for sure. Oh, and can't miss Mitch. Has he joined yet?
Hasn't joined the studio yet.
Okay, so Miss Mitch will be here. He's going to give out 3 winners. Hopefully winners. It might be hard to give out 3 winners again this week.
Oh, they're winners.
Absolutely. We'll see. But hey, man, his name is he came out of his mom's womb, and she said this kid can't miss. His name is Can't Miss Mitch. Like, so obviously more winners than losers when we come to Can't Miss Mitch for the NFL stuff. We still have all the stuff we need to do on Prize Picks. Put together a lineup for tonight, and then there's also some news. It looks like Brandon Ayuk's going to be out tonight, so we'll see how that plays out. I've already gone to see if the Deebo Samuel receptions total is still the same. They've taken it down off the board, of course, but we'll talk about all that. We'll tell ourselves a little story, see if we can hit a 6 pick on Thursday night football tonight. Not a single one is hit, but a few have hit 5 of 6. So maybe tonight will be the night. Maybe today will be the day for Can't Miss Mitch. But I do want to talk about the Isaiah Nayer stuff. So we're going to do that next.
At running back, Bijan Robinson. He is Bijan. That's what he is. There's no, oh, he's LaDainian. Oh, he's Barkley. He's not Barkley because he doesn't have the speed that Barkley does, the long speed that Barkley does. I'm not sure he's LaDainian because he's a little bit quicker in and out of jump splits, which makes no sense. There's an all-22 video going around. If you go to, I think it's Nate Tice on Twitter. He posted it last night. But this is literally Bijan Robinson. Alex Dunlap and I had multiple conversations over the spring where it was like, what is Bijan? What's his comp? And I was like, man, it's like, I'm like between like a Marshawn Lynch and like people say LaDainian Tomlinson. And then you also have like this aspect of the athleticism and what he did in college where it replicates kind of what Cam Akers was at Florida State. People are going to hate that because Cam Akers is getting a lot of negative press lately, but Cam Akers was a dog coming out of Florida State. It's like, wipe it all out. This is Bijan. This is another one of those. This is going to be one of the guys that people are saying in a couple years, it's like, oh, this is like, he's like Bijan. He's like LT. He's like AP. He's like McCaffrey. He's like Saquon. This is going to be another guy on that list. Like Bijan is just Bijan. It's crazy. But that's exactly why he was looked at the way he was when he was coming out. This guy has 19 carries in week 2 for 124 yards. He averages 6.5 yards per carry because every time he touches the football, you can't tackle him. The first tackler never gets Bijan to the ground, let alone barely slaps him. Oh, and he had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 48 yards. Forgot to tell you that. Forgot to tell you he also had 5 targets and 8.8 fantasy points just in the air to go along with his 100 yards on the ground with less than 20 carries. Bijan Robinson is, in fact, Bijan. That's the comp.
Football with friends? It's fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Oh, man, so pleased to be here with you guys on a Thursday afternoon. We got Thursday night football tonight. We got the big college slate of action, a big NFL slate of action. I got my guy, Can't Miss Mitch, coming on to join us, the creator of the Algo, of course, the Bet the Algo pod. You can hear on the Roster Watch podcast feed. You can also hear my door creaking in the back. Don't tell me that there's a cat coming in here. Hey, the cat's not mine. It's my daughter's. But if it jumps up here, dude, I will never hear the end of it. You guys are already making fun of how red my hair looks. Wait till you see this cat with the red hair. And listen, it's a goofy sight to see. It's something that you never want to see. But do you know during tough times the best sight that you could possibly have, especially if you're having to do something tough, like let's say you're selling your home, right? Is there a face that you would want to see, a smile that you would rather see than Val Garcia at Val and Real? Oh my God, look at Val Garcia. Oh, Val Garcia. My goodness. If you're selling a home in the DFW area, I'm going to tell you this. He will sell it for free. If you work in education, if you work in the ministry, Val Garcia will sell your home for 3. That's they usually charge you a 3% fee. Val Garcia says no. If you're a teacher, you're an educator, if you work in the ministry, any of that stuff, I'm not charging you a thing. And if you're anywhere at DFW and you tell Val Garcia at 469-647-8729 that you heard about him on Football with Friends, he'll sell your house for half price. You're wasting money. It's like Can't Miss Mitch always says. Like he's all about what is it, Mitch? Is it less thinking, more winning, right? Less thinking, more winning, right? This is what we talk about with Val Garcia. You don't need to think about it anymore. Get the cash. Look at that smile. That's the smile of a man who's basically reaching into his pocket, handing you like $8,000, $10,000 in saved fees. So if you know somebody in the DFW area who is especially if they're in education or in the ministry, let them know about Val Garcia, valandrealty.com. And even if they're not, and he won't do it for free, he'll still do it for you for half price if you tell him that you heard about it here on FWF Football with Friends. Again, Val Garcia, valandrealty.com. All right. The man, the myth, the legend. He can't miss. Can't miss Mitch. You can find him on Twitter at BetTheAlgo. Mitch, how the hell are you, brother?
Man, absolutely fantastic. I think it's beer 30. I was wondering if it's appropriate to drink a beer on the show. But...
Oh, you can do it. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about it. We're going to have, as soon as the Texas defensive tackle, Alfred Collins, as soon as he has a good football game, we're going to have an Alfred Collins disco party where I've already committed to drinking tequila and eating the hot. Do you ever watch Hot Ones, Mitch?
Absolutely.
Do you know the one like the last dab, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a Hot Ones party the other day. I say we. I invited my whole neighborhood over for it. I got all the wings ready. Everybody did it and stuff. And they're like, well, what about you? Are you gonna eat the wings? I'm like, hell no, I'm not gonna eat the wings. Like, I don't even like spicy food. Like, you guys are all gonna do it. But no. So, but there's still a bunch of these sauces left, and so I got some of that last dab sauce. So I'm gonna eat some of that. I'm gonna drink some tequila. I'm gonna have a bunch of fun with all of that.
Is that what turned your hair so red?
You know me. Has my hair ever looked this red, dude?
Dude, it looks good. It's a fresh fade. I like it. I got to get rid of this lettuce over here.
You got it. You got to be kidding. All right. So, Mitch, tell everybody what is the. I had a guy email me yesterday because he signed up for the Roster Watch Premium account. Oh, dude, hold on, wait. We need to get these picks in the premium thing. We need to get these in, dude, ASAP before TNF for sure.
Oh, they're there.
But okay. But so he was asking me, what is this? What is it? And I was just like, man, dude, I'm gonna have Mitch on the show tomorrow. Just tune in. What's the algo?
Yeah, what is it? Where does it come from? It comes from absolutely losing all my Saturday college bets because I'm terrible at college. And I got tired of waking up on Sunday mornings down multiple units, trying to figure out how I'm going to get it back so I didn't have to pay any type of bookie on Monday. That's what it came down to. And so when I started looking at guys who won these Las Vegas Pick'em contests, originally there's the Westgate Super Contest and then the Circa 5. The Westgate's the oldest one. And I saw the guy who won. He was a hedge fund manager. So clearly he used analytics. And I come from the private investment world. So what I did was I said, well, if Vegas comes up with a line, I can make my own. And if you ask any professional handicapper, they try and make their own line. I'm using similar investment techniques to find value and mispriced lines to the Vegas market. So when we identify a pick, all we're doing is saying, hey, you know what? Our number for tonight's game, we think it's only 3, but that number's 10. So we've got 7.5 points of value on tonight's game.
On tonight's game? No, but is that really true about tonight's game, or are you just saying that as an example?
It is. I'm here to give Longhorn Nation a free pick tonight, other than the free picks that we're gonna drop.
Hold on. So we have Sark After Dark in the chat asking, is this EV betting? Have you all used odds jams? I don't know. I'm not sure. I know what EV is, just expected value, right? But I'm not sure what odds jams is or what any of that even means.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I mean, there's a bunch of them. All I can know is we've been doing this is our 8th year.
So the answer is no, Sark After Dark. We don't know what that really is.
I assume it's something very similar. There's a bunch of things out there, and what we've done over 8 years is we've adjusted. We have real data. We literally have 7 years of data that we've been utilizing, and everybody's talking about AI and all these other sorts. I actually don't buy a lot of it. I think they're probably extremely basic. But also you can't start to get too crazy and adding a bunch of different factors. We rely on you guys at Roster Watch. When we have critical injuries, we've got to deduct points off of that. So we rely on you boys. You know, when we found out about Kelsey, you guys broke the news to us first. That's an adjustment in how we make the line.
So you saw today that Richardson didn't get back to practice. Like, so he's like, if he didn't get back today, I don't think that there's any way that he can get through the protocol. But that was just something that you and I talked about before, as far as Richardson. The question that so they're saying that Ozium is good, just expensive, but the EV is real. So I guess whenever you talk about the algo, I just like to explain to people sort of what it is. So basically what it is you can use it for sports betting, right? It'll give you a pick, but it'll also give you a value index, right? Can you explain what the value index is?
Yeah, sure. It's just the value according to it's the more value equals a higher conviction. Technically, we just identified a bigger mispriced line, and that's all that it identifies. Like, for example, if a big dog, last week, a big dog, if they're underdogs by 7 and they were favored to win by 1, then you're getting 8 points of value on that underdog. So it really just identifies the mispriced spread versus the Vegas line.
Okay, but right. So, but so what it is it basically says, okay, like it has the home team and the away team, and then it has the line, right? But what the algo does is it projects the game. It projects the score. And last week, your 3 picks went 3-0. The 11 pick or your 3 free picks that you gave out on SiriusXM on the Roster Watch show went 3-0. The 11 picks on Roster Watch were 62.5% that they hit last week. Last year, the algo on our site went 55% on the season, which doesn't sound like much. Just like it's just better than 50-50. And once you get done paying the juice, it's like no, it's like you're actually printing pretty well. It's like I didn't understand, like I wasn't much of a better last year to understand that like you really only need to hit like over like 50. Was it 52.3? Is that what it's something?
That's right. Yeah.
Something like that. Anything over that, it's like it really does happen fast as far as anything higher than that. And look, no one knows we'll go 55% again this year. I mean, I think the algo is awesome. I'm going to keep betting with it, but certainly off to a really good start. And what it does is it tells you like the score prediction, right? And so let's just say it's and this game's not even happening this week, but let's just say it's Dallas versus Washington, okay? And it says Dallas. Let's say Dallas is favored by 3, but the algo says that the score is going to be Washington 27, Dallas 21, right? So you get 6 points right there, but Dallas is also favored, so you get 3 points extra. So the value index will tell you that you get 9 points of value on that particular bet if you bet the Washington side, right? So that's Correct. What the value index is. Okay, just so they know sort of what all that means. So, Mitch, you've been hard at work. The algo has steam blowing out of its ears and out of its side. It's been on fire. These people want to make some money. They want the picks. What do you got?
All right, Longhorn Nation. So first and foremost, I'm gonna say this in advance. Originally from Boston, now Austin. I'm gonna go with the Patriots at the New York Jets. So a couple of key things here, and what's super important about the model, it really identifies the yards per game is a big driver, which equate to putting points on the board. New England gets chunks. They move the ball relatively well. They're ranked 14th in yards per game. Surprisingly, as much as I hate Mac Jones, give me any other starting quarterback, honestly, any of them.
Why do you hate him so much? You just
He's just such a stiff, and he's a stiff. He feels like he's been, fed the silver spoon his whole life. He's never done anything wrong. He definitely, like, they say he's kind of a dirty player too. Kind of like gets up and kind of like steps on people's hands and stuff like this. It's kind of like, honestly, I'd love to see it because I can't stand him. I think he's a dork, and the way he runs, the way he high fives, like he runs around like Frankenstein. Like he's just such a dweeb, and it's hard to root for a guy like that. I just feel like exactly JD Hack. Yes, he's boring. It's exactly what he is. He's a boring guy. I think his ceiling is probably Matt Hasselbeck. Could he win a ship? Sure. Yeah, he'll manage. He can manage a game. If he's got a defense behind him, he certainly can. And by the way, this New England D, we talk about the Jets D. They've got a phenomenal defense, but New England's got a pretty decent D too. They've been tremendous on preventing opponents from third down conversions. I really like that component. They're holding opponents to 34.5%. So the Jets, by the way, who've got a phenomenal defense, they're actually ranked 23rd in the league. Now, look, 2 weeks of data, big deal, but everyone talks about the Jets defense. They're ranked 23rd. They're giving up third down conversions at a 45% clip. And actually, surprisingly, they both have the same number of takeaways. Here's the critical factor. Am I going to bet that New England wins this game? No. But you know what I'm going to bet? That Zach Wilson loses it. And that's a fact because the Jets have the highest turnover ratio right now. Here's what the algorithm predicts. And this feels right on the button. It has New England winning 21.69 to 17.16. That's right, Longhorns. You got to get your calculator out. We go 2 decimal places. With the spread at 2.5, you're getting 2 points of value on New England, and that's good enough for us.
Woo! Hey, Mitch, thank God, dude. My first lock for the Circa 5, the one that I said there's no way we're getting away from. There's no way that Belichick goes 0-3 heading into Dallas. Do they have Dallas next? Blake, go check. Do the Patriots have Dallas in week 4? There's no way that Belichick goes into Dallas.
I believe so.
Dude, there's no way that Belichick goes into Dallas in week 4, having lost to Zach Wilson. And I understand that the Jets defense is good, but here's the dude. For one, New England's defense doesn't seem, and Mitch, you know how slow they always look. They always look so slow. They're, what Michael Lombardi always says is like your defense is only as fast as your linebackers. They've always kind of brought in these slow linebackers. They don't seem as slow to me. They hung in, I thought, really well. Like I was kind of impressed with them in that Philadelphia game. I know that they lost it, but that's a good team. And the other thing was, I was just like, do you know what Zach Wilson's done in his last 3 games versus Belichick?
Throw an interception or 2.
So last year, basically his best game that he ever did against them, he went 20 of 41. So basically sub 50% completion percentage. He did throw for 355, but he had 3 picks in that game. Then let's see, the other game that season, he went 9 for 22, 41% completion percentage, 77 total yards, just nothing.
And Alex, you don't think that's in his head?
2021, no, just listen to this, Mitch. 19 for 33, 210 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then week 7 in 2021, he got knocked out of that game. That was the game that he got knocked out. That was the seeing ghosts week. That was he was 6 for 10 for 51 yards before he got knocked out, and everybody made fun of him forever, and he lost a job because he was seeing ghosts. There's no way. There's no way that, I mean, just lock city. I love it. I was so worried because, dude, the algo always tells me these things that I hate so much, and I'm just like, hold my nose and click on this thing. But
and it hasn't been on New England, by the way, the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Good. All right. So there's your first pick.
I like that too. I might throw that in my circa 5. All right. This next game.
So so that's the Patriots minus 2.5. And if it gets all the way to 5, we'll flip.
Yeah. If it gets to 5, that's too big a number according to the algo. But if it's less than a half a point of value, the first 2 weeks of the season, they've all been losers. Like, we have not been taking any action on those games with less than a half a point of value. They're essentially meaningless, and it's actually gone the other way. So when we see a pick flip, it has not been favorable for taking that side.
Got it. Okay.
Next game. Tennessee, Cleveland. So terrible what we saw with Chubb. Broke my heart. That was just an awful hit.
It broke all our hearts, man.
I don't know what's going on with all these injuries, but with Diggs going down, I mean, it's just, I can't remember an NFL season within week 3, you're missing multiple marquee players, franchise type players. I can't remember a season like this. It's just scary. I don't know if it's off-season programming or what is going on, or it's just, one of those.
I think it's just one of those things, man. It's just.
Well, this line, since Cleveland laying 4.5, and this feels like a big number. Cleveland's got clearly the best rushing offense. You had a couple of big breaks, certainly skews the data a little bit, but here's the one thing that Tennessee does have and what they do very good, which is defend the run. They're only allowing 65 yards a game. They're ranked 3rd. So you kind of have the best of the rushing game versus one of the best against the run D and Mike Vrabel. And again, here, me being a Patriot homer, I love Vrabel. I think that's the best coaching lineage out of Bill Parcells, because Cornell, Weiss, they both failed at the NFL level. McDaniel, it doesn't look too great what's happening in Las Vegas right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come to Papa and go back to New England next year after he gets fired. But Cleveland does have a great pass defense. I think it's just going to be a nasty, ugly, slow under type of game. Deshaun Watson looks broke. I don't think he ever comes back from, his off the field shenanigans. He's trying to do his meditation on the side with some Sherpa. I don't know what he's doing, but I don't think he has it. And Amari Cooper's nasty. Like, throw that ball within a 10-yard vicinity and he's going to get it. I just think Deshaun Watson is done. And he's older, by the way. Let's not forget that. He's a couple years older.
They're going to look back at this contract as one of the worst contracts ever if he doesn't get anything going. It's really bad. And Amari Cooper needs to start practicing. They need to get their chemistry together. There's a whole lot going on there.
Yeah, I just see this being a battle of inside the trenches, and I'll take Derrick Henry over Cleveland's offensive line and Ford and whoever else if they've got Hunt by that time. Here's what the algorithm predicts. Cleveland wins this game in a tight one, 19.06 to 17.29. The pick is Tennessee, and you're getting 1.73 points of value. And sorry, that line is now 3.5 when we looked at it earlier. So it has come down into Cleveland's benefit. I think that number probably ends up at 3 or even 2.5. I could see.
But okay, so wait, but is there any line that it could get to where it would flip to Cleveland?
I don't think it's going to get there. We're too far. If it moves a point, we've still got 3/4 of a point of value. And in the first 2 weeks, that's treated us okay.
But it's 4.5 right now, or it was 4.5 whenever you looked at it.
3.5.
3.5 now. It ain't gonna get through 3.
I don't think it drops below 3.
Okay,
that's a good number.
So then the line, so the pick is actually right now Tennessee plus 3.5. It feels gross. That's a hold your nose and do it. But it's like Cleveland hadn't been that good. It's like, yeah. So Tennessee is just, man, they've bad offensive line. There's a million. Look, it's like Diago wanted me to take the Rams versus Seattle in week 1. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I should have done it.
I was all over the Rams because in our preview for the over-unders for the season, I thought 6.5 was such a low number for the Rams. I thought they were so beat up. They've got great coaching. Say what you want about Staffy, but when he's healthy, he's nasty. He's a great quarterback. He's probably, 1 or 2 years out of the league. Maybe this is his last one, but that team's too good. And Seattle overperformed last year, and they were just undervalued according to the market. And so
have you heard this deal? Have you heard this deal about his wife saying that he's having trouble connecting with some of the younger the younger millennials? Is
that true? I mean, isn't his wife like 20? Isn't his wife a millennial?
I don't know. If Kelly Stafford went on a podcast and was talking about how he invites them over for dinner and stuff, and they try to do team building, and they're always on their phones and stuff. I don't know. It's something that eventually we'll have to talk about here on the show. I think about Stafford and his inability to connect with some of the younger millennials. Anyway, what do you think, Mitch? So do we have any? There's one final pick.
We do got one more pick, and
but then you teased the Thursday night one.
I was going to give the Thursday night out to Longhorn Nation, and it's the least I can do. This is what I'm here for. All right. We got Denver at Miami.
I have no idea where this. I mean, this one is that's 6.5, right?
It's a big number. It's a big number. I was
like, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to go with the algo. But man, I think Denver stinks. I don't know. We'll see what you think. We'll see what the algo thinks. I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously we know how great Miami's offense is. Defensively, they're not good. They're giving up 7.2 yards a pass. They're ranked 27th. And I think this mismatch is certainly going to help Denver. I think they're going to be able to hang. I think Denver's offense is going to be able to hang with Miami's offense. I really believe that. They just have such a, terrible defense. They're ranked 30th in opponent third down conversions. They're 30th in opponent red zone scoring percentage.
And they've played Washington and who else? When the Raiders.
Yeah. On the other side, you're right. I think I could see Denver forcing some turnovers, and they're going to be able to keep it close. I really believe that. Granted, again, Miami, they're nasty, ranked number 1 in multiple categories, 30 points a game. They're ranked 3rd. And if they can outscore, great. But I just think that the third down conversions, I think Russ is going to be able to pick that defense apart. Look, when you look what Mac Jones, potentially was able to do to Miami, they were able to hang. I thought that game was going to be an absolute blowout. I think Denver has a shot. And where I'm going, by the way, the algorithm has a very close game. Miami wins 20.29 to 18.43.
The algo's on the Broncos.
You're getting 4.6 points of value.
You're going to lose everybody's money, Mitch. You got off to such a good start.
I think this is a 4-point game. So I think Denver is certainly going to be able to hang around, and who knows? I mean, 2 is such a question mark whether or not he gets hit the wrong way and he's done.
Yeah, I can't. Do you know what, Mitch? Here's the truth. I hate it. I just hate it. But I tell you on the radio show all the time that this pick stinks. It's the worst pick. I tell the audience not to listen, and half the time I do, I'm just wrong. Things happen. It's like I think about things I think about things through these neural pathways that I have in my own brain that make sense to me and stuff like that. When you get a thing like the algo and you look at it and stuff like that, and it opens up these new ideas and these new things, these new thoughts to say like, well, what if that does happen? Like, well, that could happen. And all of a sudden you think about things in a new way. It's like you always say, the algo, it makes you a better sports bettor just to kind of look at it, right?
It's just data. It has nothing to do. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has some perspective of it. It just takes all of that out. And the data never lies. It really doesn't. It tells a great story.
All right.
Are we going to give you the TNF?
Yeah,
Should we do that?
Let's go. So the bad pick that's probably going to win is Denver. Plus what is Denver getting? 6.5. The awesome pick is New England minus the 2.5, and then the pick that I think I would just trust the algo on is going to be Tennessee plus 3.5.
I think 2-1 out of these three feels very, very doable.
Yeah.
Coming off a 3-0 week, the algo is feeling good about himself.
Yeah, I feel good too, man. I'm feeling good about that algo. Yeah. Yes. All right, Thursday night football. Let's see if there's nothing I love more than getting off to a 1-0 start. Nothing.
Yeah. Look, we know how bad the Giants offense is struggling. They're ranking in the bottom third for many offensive metric, points per game, quarterback sack rate, yards per play. Obviously their ground game is okay, but now who knows? I don't know what's going to happen there. And then San Fran on the other side of the ball looked just like a complete football team. I mean, they're ranked at the top of nearly every offensive metric in yards per rush touchdowns a game. And Purdy's been very efficient. They're ranking 5th in yards per pass. They're putting up a lot of points. They're ranked 3rd in points per game. And the Giants, D stinks. They're last in opponent points per game.
And they played the Cardinals.
Right. Where they should have lost that game.
Yeah. Yes.
So you talk about a pick that I hate, and
there
was 7 points of value.
Don't do
the
it.
Algo has San Fran winning 25.
Wait, get him off the show. He's gonna
25.65 to the New York Giants, 22.50. So the Algo is saying that this is a 3-point game, and the betting market is saying it's a 10.5-point game. And so here's kind of what I think. I think if this is going to happen, if you're taking the Giants, the best part is going to be the opening kickoff when it's 0-0. That's as good as it's going to feel. Like we're in it. It's like betting on the under. You're always winning until you're not. And that's kind of what this game is going to feel like. But you're going to think that San Fran's going to be in complete control, and then Daniel Jones is going to scamper in with like a minute and a half left and backdoor this thing. That's the only thing that I could see happening for the Giants to even stay in this game. And maybe if they all catch the flu, some new variant of COVID, I don't know. It's hard to look at the algo tonight and said, I'm with you. And honestly, it's hard a lot of times, but it's right more than I am.
It's so weird, dude. It is so weird. And that's the perfect, that's the perfect way to put it, man. The algo puts me on picks every week that I absolutely hate. I hate that pick. I hate that pick. I hate the,
so do I.
I hate 2 of those picks, but it is what it is. Somebody's asking in chat about Brandon Ayuk. It looks like there was the report earlier. Jareth Mulholland is saying that he's listed as doubtful, but there was the report earlier, I think, from Rap Sheet saying that he's not going to play. So there we go. Yes, Nathan, the algo is on the G-Men, and it says that it's not only on the G-Men, but it says that the line is 7 points wrong. So I mean, just take from it what you will. Mitch and I are probably a little bit worried about it. Again, you can find the algo if you a premium sub over at rosterwatch.com. You can also hear the Bet the Algo podcast on our podcast feed. You can also find Mitch. He's got a Patreon. You can follow him on Twitter at Bet the Algo. Instagram? Where else can they find you, Mitch?
Yeah, it's Bet the Algo, like every social media thing.
Yeah.
And
he says he's a big Patriots fan, man. But this dude's right here with us, and right here with us in the great. Well, I guess I'm not an ATX anymore, but he's certainly right down there in the big, thick middle of the ATX. So you can get the takes from him about all the various cool new bars and restaurants and stuff like that. But of course, there's also all the algo stuff. Oh, hey, Mitch. By the way, gifts under $100 is there a go-to that you have? That's our theme today. Is there a gift that you like to give people that costs less than $100? Like
who's the gift for?
It's just for, I don't know. Like you can just say, I mean, you can say like, well, it's for your brother, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, anything. I mean,
I say do a real activity together versus buying something. If it's for your girl or your wife, fiance, whatever you want to call her or him, make him dinner. Spend time with him. That's my gift under $100, and then take whatever you don't spend and bet the algo.
There you go. All right, there he is, man. Mitch, you're the best, brother. Thanks so much. We're gonna try and have Mitch come on and be a regular here, giving out these winners for you guys. So, Mitch, as always, brother, all my love to you, man. Best of luck to the algo tonight. We'll see what happens, man. It's gonna be a big weekend. We'll talk to you soon, and thanks so much.
Good luck, Horns. 14.5.
Yeah, for sure. All right, there he is. Can't miss Mitch. Find him on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can at Bet the Algo. We got the Isaiah Nayer stuff. I teased it, then we brought on Mitch. So we're gonna get to it next.
This Orangebloods recruiting flashback focuses on the player generally considered to be the greatest Longhorn football player of all time. Vince Young was a 5-star prospect by rivals when he signed with the Longhorns in 2002, finishing as the #1 overall player in the nation. 20 plus years later, the two things that stand out the most about Young's recruitment was how much ground the Longhorns made up in a blink of an eye. Weeks before his senior season began in 2001, his mother reported that Texas was out. Quote, "We ruled out Texas as Vincent has decided that he probably won't stay in the state of Texas to play in college," Miss Young said. In just a matter of months following that statement by his mom, Vince Young was pretty much wrapped up to go to Texas. The other thing that stands out about Young's recruitment was just how big he was in the city of Houston. I went to a playoff game with Madison against Hightower in the Astrodome, and opposing fans were jumping up in the stands over the excitement that Young was creating. I wrote for Orangebloods.com at the time, quote, "At that point, the Astrodome crowd started to go crazy. People in the Hightower section were high-fiving each other, laughing, and screaming in amazement," end quote. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before or since. On the day he committed to the Longhorns in January, Vince said, quote, "There's a lot of love down there at Texas, and that's what I was looking for before I visited. They made my mom smile, and that's all I needed to see. I committed to them this afternoon." Young was the bell cow of a 2002 recruiting class that was ranked first in the nation and is regarded as one of the best in the history of the school. That class signed 6 5-star prospects, which also included Justin Blaylock and Roderick Wright. Ultimately, Young's class was the foundation of the 2005 national championship team.
Football with friends. It's fun as hell. And boy, it's fun here on a Thursday, guys. So happy to be here with you guys. Darwin Lemon saying his $100 gift. Crown Royal. Ooh, $100? Really? It's probably right. I mean, if I wanted to get a big, that'd be a great gift under $100. It might be over $100. Give me a big thing of Casamigos. I can't afford to get Casamigos every time. I got to get Hornitos for the everyday drinking whenever I go to Specs. Boy, it's really just going to take about one more sponsor. It's going to take about one more sponsor here for me to be able to be wealthy enough to be able to afford Casamigos. So if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can email me, alex@rosterwatch.com. I'll take a Casamigos shot on here, every time I guess I can't. I guess I can't do that. But maybe sometimes until Catch called and complained about it. Yeah, and also if you could please like and subscribe to the channel. If you could click the like button, that would be great. And if you have any comments, you can certainly leave them below. If you have any questions, get them into the chat, and we'll certainly help. Jay Ward says, "I need a Real Tree sponsorship." I would certainly take one. Wouldn't I blend into my background? I'd be like a talking head up here, okay. All right. So Isaiah Nayer, he's saying Sark says physically he's doing great, right? Darwin Lemon just said something. "I'll send you some Casamigos if you admit Jay Brooks is the best ever." Okay, Jay Brooks is the best ever. email me, alex@rosterwatch.com, and I'll shoot you my address to send that Casemiro.
Jonathan Brooks, top 3 running back in Longhorns history, no doubt.
He's the best ever. I'm gonna hold you to it. Jay Ward asking if I wear a real tree. I don't think so. I don't think I wear. I mean, does it? No, because I wear Kuyu Verde. If I'm out hunting, I wear their Verde is really awesome for hill country, and then I wear what do I wear in First Light? I think it's Cypher. So I have 2 kits. I have the Kuyu kit. I have the Fusion. I think it's Fusion for the hill country for First Light. I have one First Light kit. I have one Kuyu kit, and then just a bunch of different, a bunch of different base layer stuff, a bunch of merino stuff.
You got did you ever get hooked up with Amigo Provisions and they're like Longhorn camo? Have you seen that? They were sponsoring the site for a little while.
Yeah, I gave it to my wife. I'm not gonna wear that.
It's more of a game day.
I think. I don't go to games, and when I do, I tend not to wear all the long. I'm still stuck in this mode where it used to be we couldn't wear long. It was in our contracts with rivals that we weren't allowed to wear Longhorn gear, and so like I used to have to cover up my tattoos and all this. Like you don't have to do that really anymore. Okay. But so with Isaiah Nayer, Sark says physically he's fine. They were saying like, is he fine? What's gonna like because Nayer doesn't play. He doesn't play. Jonte Cook plays. Casey Kane plays. Nayer doesn't play.
We need to lay this out. Like 6 snaps. Like that's it for Isaiah Nayer this season. All against Rice.
Yeah, he doesn't play. So it's like people are just like, what's up with this? And the weirdest thing about Nayer too, I mean, this wasn't anything that any of the other media people would have said or anything that that they've thought about, in any real way, because a lot of them, and to their credit, it's like a lot of these media guys are different kind of. I'm a different kind of media guy than the rest of them. I have stuff running through my head that's just different than what they do. They have different stuff. They want to write a good story and write a good lead and make sure that it's something good for their newspaper audience and stuff, and good for them, right? The kind of stuff I think about is like, why are you playing him at both? Like, why did he play at Z all through training camp as the third Z behind Worthy, Cook, and then Nayer? And now why do you have him coming out like behind Casey Kane at X? Why not just have him at X the whole? Why not have a battle for that second X? I don't really get it, But that's never a question one of these people will ask. One of these days, Blake, on that Zoom meeting, I'm just gonna start asking questions.
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to do it. I used to go to Max questions. I'd ask him, Charlie. I'd ask these guys questions all the time. I quit doing it because the deep dig started taking too much time during the day. I moved out here. It's like it's on Zoom. I'm just like,
we need answers, Alex. You and Anwar need to be the ones providing it.
Yeah, I feel weird doing it because I've never gone before. I hate to be, it's like your first time is always your toughest. But I'm just gonna someone starts asking Sark some of this stuff. But he said that physically he's great, but there's a mental component too, as far as Nayer. He says that he needs to be consistent. He says there's times where he looks really good, and what did he say? He says that there's times when he looks really good, and there's times wherever you wonder about that mental component, whether he's still like, that's kind of it.
Now you're talking about like regaining confidence after the injury. As far as
I don't know. I guess that's kind of that's kind of how that's where my mind went. I don't think it's I don't think it's about his him thinking his socks look goofy or something. Right? But he said like but then the reporter followed up, and I forget who it was, but he said that about the wide receiver rotation. There's not really too much of a rotation right now as rotation. Yeah. And he said, well, and Sark said, well, when I talk about a wide receiver rotation, I think about it. The first thing I need to think about, is that in our best interest? Is it in our, is that really in our best interest? Like, do we get somebody in just to get him in? He did say that Jonte Cook is close. And he feels like he's close to being ready to burst onto the scene. That's the only backup guy that he mentioned. Isaiah Nair did, like he doesn't play. It's an interesting thing, and he doesn't get a. I don't know. He doesn't get a resounding kind of like, hey, look, guys, he'll be fine. We have everything. It'll be good. We got a plan for Isaiah. He's taking it slow. Boy, he looks great at practice. Like it's like he's saying like there's some things with him. So there's something to keep in mind, especially if AD Mitchell's gone next year. I mean, Isaiah Nair would become an important piece. We were talking about Nair last year whenever he got hurt. That like people were like the season's over. Oh my God, we lost Isaiah Nair. You know, like how are we ever gonna overcome this? It's Nair.
Fair, they struggled with finding a second receiver to fill that void, but now they have Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah. So
Jonte Cook.
Yeah. And if Adonai Mitchell's not back, it's just, I mean, they're gonna need Nair. I mean, if I were Sark, I think that maybe I would just think I would think that if I were Sark, I'd want to take a very, very gentle approach with anything that I talked about Nair with. He just didn't seem like a gentle approach. He's like physically he's fine. Like he's back healthy. He's like, but there's a mental component. It's just like he's not consistent enough. So it's just something interesting there. All right, so a couple quick things here just as we look over, just completely wrapping up Wyoming. Let's talk about the because we've already talked about all about the offensive line. But as far as the skill players, just guys who saw ticks up or ticks down in participation versus Wyoming and what it could mean coming into the Baylor game this week. So Jonathan Brooks, of course, had a massive volume game here, 86.5% of snaps. That was the most he's played on the season. On the season now, he's up to 60% of snaps for the year. C.J. Baxter at 21%, Jaden Blue at 14%, Keelan Robinson at 12%, Savion Red at 6%. And Byron Murphy, famous running back, fullback Byron Murphy now has played 1.03% of snaps. He's been added onto the old list here as far as running backs are concerned. Of course, Quinn played 100% of snaps versus Wyoming. He's up to 95% on the season. Adonai Mitchell, this was the first game, I think. Yeah, this was the first game where Adonai Mitchell was actually outsnapped by Xavier Worthy, which was an interesting thing. They went to a 2 wide receiver package with just Worthy and Whittington for one long series, and that resulted in them basically getting the same number of snaps. Generally, Adonai gets 5 to 10% higher snap count than does Xavier Worthy, but this game it was 81% for Mitchell, 83% for Worthy. That puts him at 86 and 81% respectively on the season. Can you believe that Jordan Whittington has played exactly 50% of snaps? He played his lowest snap percentage of the season in this game versus Wyoming, and that's because in this game versus Wyoming, when we talk about the personnel deployments, the personnel groupings, they played more 12 personnel, so more 2 tight end sets, which take the third wide receiver, the slot wide receiver off the field, than they played in either of the previous 2. Jonte Cook got three snaps on offense. I think he, I saw that he was credited for, I think in PFF, I think credited him for like 5 snaps, but I think that they credit for, punts and stuff like this or plays that get whistled dead. It's just so cockamamie. Casey Kane had 3 snaps and then no other snaps for any of these guys. Jonte Cook came in before Casey Kane as usual. So Jonte Cook's your wide receiver 4. Casey Kane right now is your wide receiver 5. That's just how things go.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's the end of the road as far as wide receivers go.
Yeah. DeAndre Moore, Isaiah Nair, Ryan Niblett, they haven't played a snap in the last two games. Let's see. Jatavion Sanders played 98% of snaps in this one. Gunnar Helm played 60% of snaps in this one. Malik Agbo actually played 14% of snaps at that jumbo spot he's been playing, that one that Andre Carrick fled to Tennessee to get away from. No Juan Davis, no Patrick Bayouth in this one.
It's an interesting uptick for Agbo.
Yeah, seven snap. I mean, what did he play? So 6.94 snaps the first game, 3% of snaps. The second game, nearly 14% of snaps. They really just tried to bring it in, kind of 12 personnel, big jumbo heavy packages, and just go run. A lot of block, a lot more power in this game. We talked about that before. As far as the target share on the season, So here's your three main target share guys. Y'all know who they are. Xavier Worthy's at 27.17% so far. Jatavion Sanders now number 2 at 17.39%. Adonai Mitchell at 16.3% on the season. Jordan Whittington at 13% on the season. In this game, though, it feels like Adonai Mitchell and JT Sanders sort of flip-flop underneath this sort of 28-ish% target share, this complete dominator target share that Xavier Worthy gets. And they flip-flop as the dudes who go between, the 19% guy and between the 14 to 15% guy. It just it changes from week to week. Versus Rice, they were both 17% guys, right? So it's like I think they have this kind of dialed in with their targets. It's like they both they both average right at 17% target share. Jordan Whittington at 13% target share. Well, underneath them it goes Jay Brooks is at 5.43%, Baxter at 4.35%. So Texas does not have a pass catching running back that will be viewed by like analytics scouts or by analytics departments as somebody that projects to be a pass catcher at the next level. So,
no running back targets at all in this game.
So Brooks didn't have one, Baxter,
saving Red,
Robinson didn't, Red didn't. Yeah. So no running back targets in this game.
It's interesting.
It's just it's not a very. We'll see what happens with CJ Baxter. It's not a very pass heavy offense as far as when we're looking at whenever we're looking at these
Byron Murphy more targets than the running backs.
Byron Murphy out targeted all these dudes. Byron Murphy out targeted. Dude, do you realize that he had more targets in this game than Kalen Robinson, Jaden Blue, Savion Red, DeAndre Moore, Casey Kane, Ryan Niblett, Juan Davis, and Patrick Bayouth combined?
Unbelievable. And a touchdown. Like I said, wasn't just one target.
Hold on, wait. On this sheet, why did I give? Oh man, I messed this up on the sheet for the Wyoming target share because it has Isaiah Nayer with a target. So I gave him a target that somebody else didn't have. I need to fix that. Have people complained on my column about that today?
Let me see.
I'll bet somebody's complained about that. They're like, he didn't play a snap. How did he get a target? Oh God, I'll have to redo the sheet. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the 11th comment. The post.
We quote him and say Alex is looking on this online, and he just realized that he gave the target to the wrong guy. He's gonna fix it after the show. Thank you, Blake. Okay, so that's the target share stuff. Skill player participation. And then just the personnel stuff. Just an interesting flip from on the season. They've been running 12 personnel. Like 39% of the time. It was 51% of the time in this game. That was the most by far. They played 31% 12 versus Rice, 39% 12 versus Alabama, 52% 12 versus Wyoming, 59% 11 versus Rice, 51% 11 versus Alabama, 33% 11 versus Wyoming. So this was a big, heavy game. They also went to the 3 tight end stuff with the 2 running backs. First time we've seen that. They went to 21. About the same as usual, 7 to 10% of the time. It was a 7.69% this week. Okay.
Jay Ward's going to complain right now about you gave Nayer a target. Oh, that's funny.
I just put it in the wrong. I think I'm not sure what I gave him somebody else's target, so it's fine. It's fine. We're here with friends.
I can't believe that doesn't happen more often, man. The amount of numbers you crunch and put up, it's.
On the Orangebloods message, I knew it, Blake. I knew it as soon as I said that. I said, "Oh God, somebody said something on my column," and they didn't look at anything else I wrote. They didn't look at. They're like, "Why does Nayer have a target? He said he didn't play a snap." Okay. All right. Let's see if we can go to Prize Picks and tell ourselves a story about this game tonight. We're gonna I'm gonna go over to Roster Watch, go to the Premium Download section, and I'm just gonna look at some of the betting trends here in this game. And see if that'll give us an idea about how we think it might go. Do you have any thoughts? I mean, God, I do not want to go with the algo on this. Only 24% of the bets.
Hammer the Giants, right?
24% of the bets are on the Giants, and literally 24% of the money. It's like nobody wants to do this. I don't care what the algo says. I hate that pick. So I'm going to say that if this is a game where James Conner can go off against this crappy defense, I'm going to build a team for a Christian McCaffrey monster. What do you think? I'm going to build a Christian McCaffrey monster game script. Okay, so I'm going to go to Prize Picks. I'm just going to go look and see what his. Okay, so log in, and then I'll go to share screen.
Also, thank you, Money B, for saying my shirt is fire.
Money B, we're about to have some football with friends shirts, brother.
I know. We got some Rangers fans in the chat. Good to see. All right.
Okay, so let's see what they have for McCaffrey rush yards. They don't have it? They have a fantasy score? 21 per God, that's a big number. It's a big number, isn't it? They have the receiving yards on McCaffrey. 30 point. I don't know if he's going to need to. Oh, wait, 80.5? Sure. I'll take the over there or the more. If he goes for 80.5, though, Blake, he's going to score a touchdown. And I kind of like that better than the I like that better than I like the 21.5 fantasy points and half point PPR. Okay, so if he has a monster game, let's see if they got. Is there a receptions total on Deebo Samuel? It's up to 5 now, but there's no Ayuk. It's got. I mean, he's going to catch 5 balls, isn't he? Is there one for? Oh, Kittle's going to catch more than 4 balls with no Ayuk, right? You don't think so?
I'm pulling up the stats. I think for sure with Ayuk out, Kittle's going to be a major factor in that offense tonight.
Let me just see. Hold on.
They're playing the Giants. Like, come on.
Let me just check something out just real quick. All right, I'm going to.
Kittle's had 3 in both the first 2 games.
Let me see.
3 receptions. Pull up the target share, though. Let's see.
Well, let me just. I wanted to look real quick at. Can you guys see this? Okay, so Debo. What has Debo had? Debo's had. He's averaging 5.5 receptions per game. He's running a route on 95% of team dropbacks. He's got a 30% target share. That's even with him in. No, so this has to be Debo.
Yeah, Money B's right. It needs to be Debo instead of.
Yeah, this has to be Debo.
Kittle.
So let me go back to Debo. It could be Debo and Kittle, right? As far as just the receptions.
True.
But but Debo's going to have more than five receptions. Okay, so if this happens, what's going to need to happen with that? They're going to have to try kind of be in comeback mode. Deebo Samuel's had a big game. Christian McCaffrey's had a big game. Daniel Jones is going to have to. Do you know what Daniel Jones is going to have to do at certain times?
Rushing touchdown.
Yes, everybody's going to be covered, and he's going to have to scramble.
Yep.
Is there a rush yards for him? 37.5. What is he averaging per game? So he's averaging right now. Let's see, Daniel Jones. He's averaging 51 rush yards per game.
Jeez, I wouldn't know because I don't watch the Giants, but that's crazy. 37.5, but man.
He's going to have to scramble.
He's going to have to, yeah.
Oh, it feels hard, but I mean, you're going to have to make some of these plays. I don't like either of these guys, Gary Brightwell or Matt Breida on the 21.5 rush yards doesn't seem like much, but both these guys are kind of. Brightwell sucks. Breida's kind of small, scat back kind of guy. I almost want to look at the receiving yards for Breida to see just like as an underneath kind of outlet, an extension of their 12.5 receiving yards for Breida. That's a lock. That's one of the best ones yet. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is Darius Slayton going to have over? How many receptions? Oh, underneath receptions to Darren Waller, right?
Yeah, Money B just said Waller might be the play.
Yeah, underneath receptions to Darren Waller, 4.5 receptions, of course. So, and then we'll pick one more to make this a $500 on $20. Do you want Jennings 2.5 receptions? I don't like that. Isaiah Hodgins going to catch 2.5? Feels like Isaiah Hodgins should catch probably 2.5 balls here. They're going to be focusing on Slayton. What's Isaiah Hodgins averaging? Let's see. Hodgins. No, he's averaging 2.5 a game. He's getting 4 targets a game. He's only running 57% of routes.
Nah.
I'm not sure I like that. Slayton is averaging only 3 receptions per game. What do they have him at? He's only running 71% of routes. Golly, and his air yard share is horrible too. That's bad for Darius Slayton, right? I'm not sure I really like any other plays in this one. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to add one because I want this shot at 500. I can't get Gary Brightwell in.
You also don't want to lose the 200 on the last pick. That's always the worst when the last pick is the one that misses.
What about a kicker? Is there a kicker on here? Field goals made? Jake Moody for the say. Oh, yeah, he's going to kick over 2 field goals, right? This is going to be a slaughter. Don't you think?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, that's it. 25x. 21,500. Nice and easy. Entry place. Let's check it out. Is it up? We got it? We got it. There it is.
Boom.
So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll check it out. We'll see whether these all hit. Blake, you got a favorite gift under $100?
Man, recently I think our man earlier hit it on the head as experiences. I've been tending to do concert tickets. Not always under $100, I guess, but depending on the concert. But I like doing experiences rather than physical gifts over the last few years for my sister and my dad. Like, that's just more fun for everybody involved, I think. That's my go-to.
Dude, if it's for men who like hunting or fishing or stuff like that, dude, just get them knives. Men love knives. I love knives, dude. I have my knives sitting close to my desk because I just like to look at them. You know, get them knives, get them bino harnesses. You can get awesome fishing reels. I'm just talking about all the stuff that I would like. I don't know. Maybe just give somebody a gift card. Just say, you go get what you like. You do what you like.
Oh man. Wait. We got a lit shirt from the chat. I'm going to pull this up. We got an email. I put my email in the chat that said, who was it that wanted earlier that Michael My Business. All right. 1 second. We're going to bring your shirt up. Here's Michael My Business's lit shirt that he sent me via email just now.
Ooh, oh, look at that. That's a nice looking shirt.
That's a game day shirt right there.
Michael My Business.
Yes.
He's already out having some beers on a Thursday. Good for you, man. Looking good.
Cool sports bar too. Look at this.
Looking good, my brother. Why's he got the Nevada Wolfpack thing up on there? Is Michael My Business out there in Nevada? I guess so. Yeah. Well, interesting enough, man. It's been a big day. We got a big one coming up tomorrow. Cody Carpentier is joining us for final takes heading into Baylor, and there's a bunch of this stuff we didn't even get to. But you know that Cody and I will have our final takes. You know it's going to be fun as hell. So for today, for Blake, I'm Alex.